Oh yeah. Well, hello folks, welcome back to the channel. This is Henry. My goodness, we get to drive into and park in the funniest places. So we are at Lucio Lake, and we're going to do a cleanup dive here. This is a south-facing beach. This beach here in the summertime is just packed, like hundreds of people. This used to be a campsite actually, and it got decommissioned because Garibaldi Lake is just that way. And there's a wall. It's called the barrier. You can't see it today because it's all clouded over. But there's a danger of that wall letting go, and when it does, it actually the water, the entire Garibaldi Lake is just washed down here and takes this whole thing out. So they can't really have people camping here, so they kind of took that away. But people still come here and party and whatever. So in the summertime, BC Hydros, this is a hydro lake or a hydro property, so they have security down here kicking people out because they can't really be here. But check this out, eh? Just gorgeous. It's a little bit cold today, and again, yours truly wearing shorts when he's not supposed to. It's freaking freezing here. Holy. Anyway, I got Gordon from Hike and RV with me. He's going to do some surface support for me with his paddlecraft. I'm going to take my scooter. I'm going to go to this area across the other side. It's about 230 meters away. We're right over, I think, there. I can't remember. It's somewhere over there. And but Otto and Karen are going to dive out front here. We're going to see what kind of garbage we pull out. All right. Okay. See you guys in the water. So I used Google Map prior to the dive, and I knew that I got a scooter approximately 230 meters. This ended up taking approximately, I guess, 3 minutes or so to get across, 3 or 4 minutes maybe. What was fascinating is actually the change in the lake bottom, like the growth, right? So this is at the very beginning of the dive as I descended in the water column. About 30-45 seconds, we get a lot of this grass, mossy material, and then that disappeared as we went a little bit deeper, not very deep, probably like 17-20 feet or so, and maybe 30 feet. And what an interesting change. So met up with Gordon at where this ramp here is. You can see the kind of like that little wood structure right above where he was, and yeah, this is kind of fascinating. Very, very steep and very unstable rock collapse. So all of these rocks would have fallen off from that little rock face. And it was just littered with beer cans and all sorts of beverage cans. So I took a few minutes to kind of sort through, or kind of like trying to spot every little piece of metal, anything unnatural looking. And obviously you have to dig through the rock sometimes because you get fresh collapses that bury the old cans. There might be cans even further into this rock pile actually, but I just grabbed what I could see. Oh, beach towel. It was, these things always hold so much water. Like trying to drag them out of the water is actually kind of interesting because they hold so much water weight. So now it's time to descend down to the bottom. I had already seen like the outlines of the bikes that are next to the log. What's interesting about this portion here is I'm so used to looking for things that I already know how to look for, such as sunglasses and beer cans and lighters. I've never actually found a buried skateboard before. I found skateboards before, but never one that's been buried in silt. So I didn't really know what the outline of a skateboard looks like, right? So when I first saw it, I was like, what is that sticking out of the silt, right? Because it's just kind of hard to recognize. And then once I realized what it was, then it very quickly, then it became, I was like, oh, okay, well, there's more here because I can see the outline, right? So I ended up grabbing, and they were actually surprisingly heavy underwater. They definitely weigh a few pounds. And I realized that I couldn't actually work on them at the bottom of the lake because the silt was just too great. So I had to bring them back up to the rock wall, find a stable spot, leave them up there, because knowing that I'd go back and deal with them later. I wasn't even sure how to deal with them, actually, to be honest with you. But I thought, okay, well, I'll just make a pile of skateboards up top here and I'll go down. You can see the silt pile here, or the silt cloud here. It's gotten to the point where, yeah, I know there's skateboards down there, but I can't see them because I'm so buried in silt, right? So anyway, I made a small pile of skateboards up top. I'll go back and deal with them. So now it's time to, I've now given up looking for anything in the silt because I can no longer see. So now it's time to grab the bikes. So here I am deploying the lanyards that I created specifically for lifting up tires. These come in super handy for lifting up bikes. I just pretty much cinch up to any part of the bike frame that I can reach, and then attach it to my lift bag. This is further away from the log, and I had to pull this like through the silt back to where my bag of beer cans and the first bike is, and this one is much further away, but I had really good visibility, so I could see them when they were further away. And again, I'm dragging it back, creating even more silt at this point, clipping them off. And now it's time to, so that's all stabilized, so now it's time to go figure out how to deal with these skateboards. I only had 2 more onion bags with me. I brought 3 with me, so I had 2 more, and I honestly had no idea if this would work or not, so I figured, well, what do I try to see if I can get 1 into the bag? And it took a couple of seconds of struggling to get the first one into the bag, but what was cool is once the first one is in, the next one is actually easy because the bag is completely open. And as it turns out, the maximum number of skateboards you could fit inside a 50-pound onion bag is 3. There you go. Now you know. And so what I want to do now is grab my carabiner and then cinch the top of the bag closed tight, so that way the boards can't physically fall out of it. And I'll take the first bag and clip it off to the lift bag pile down at the bottom of the lake, go back up to the top to my rock of skateboards, and now this part is easy, knowing I've already done one, so now I know it's easy. So first one goes into the bag to open the bag up, and then the second and third one is pretty easy. Again, cinch the top of the bag with the carabiner, and then off I go to my haul, my fantastic treasure haul of garbage, over to the lift bag. Now just orally inflate the lift bag, shoot it to the surface where Gordon is waiting for me. I had asked Gordon to come along to help tow this giant pile of trash back to the beach.
That was a lot of work. I've got 4 bikes and 6 skateboards. There's more down there, but I've gotten to the point where I can't see anymore. And however you want to... That was a lot of stuff.
All right, pack raft became a tugboat.
Yeah. Tug raft.
Tug raft. New type of sport.
It's not often that I use up every piece of lifting gear that I have. Oh, hey, man, that was a fun dive. Got a whole bunch of stuff. I've got, check this out. I've got lots of bikes and skateboards and beer cans and so on. And let me get out of my suit and show you what we got. I'm waiting for that. There's like blue sky over there. But it was raining. Gordon, who was, oh man, I so badly needed his help. Thank you so much, Gordon. But he was having a hard time trying to paddle all that stuff back. All right, here we go. 195 pounds of trash. These all 6 skateboards came from underneath that ramp on the far side of the lake. So did these 4 bikes. All right, or this one here is missing the handlebar. I guess I'll have to go back and find that at some point. There's a mountain bike. It's been down there for a while. It's pretty rusted. And golf club, part of a paddle. Got looks like 40, maybe 49 beer cans or so. Got some hats, some towels, and a piece of broken lawn chair.
Yeah, so he's taking that.
What do you think there, guys?
Well,
what do you have to say about this?
The poor guy that lost his bike, the poor child.
The poor child. I think they did it on purpose. I don't think.
Skateboard guy hanged in.
Well, there we go, folks. 195 pounds of trash pulled out of this beautiful little lake. Apparently, it's quite the gong show in the summertime. All right. Thanks so much to my Patreon supporters. We'll see you in the next one.